Now, I've been focusing a lot on just a pair of video games coming out, okay? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I love the game, and I'll be able to talk about it when I do my big, long review here by the end of the year, I hope. Don't want to set anything in stone, but, I'm aiming for that. And then, of course, all the craziness that's going on surrounding Stellar Blade, all the way up from the fact that it's just something that doesn't necessarily appeal to me, but it does have a wide range of opinions, which it's kind of funny, right? For everybody who wants to deride Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's lagging sales. I haven't heard any sales figures for Stellar Blade, but that's totally fine. People are enjoying the Souls-like. It's not my cup of tea, but then also with Sony censoring it over the top, and the shift up, playing the role of the fall guy, all the way up until, Grums, who's covering this stuff, getting legitimate death threats. And it's like, what is going on over here? So I just wanted to take an opportunity to go ahead and take a step back and talk about another game that's out here. Okay, Tales of Kenzera Zhao. What is this? Oh yeah, it's going to become a lot more clear here very, very shortly. A decent action elevated by a truly moving story. Oh my god. Okay, so it's decent action, truly moving story. This is out here from IGN, and well, we'll just go ahead and, hop down to their legendary rate of a 7. Ooh, okay, now I understand, right? It's like for a lot of critics that are out there, okay, basically their scale starts at 7. 7's normally as bad as something that is palatable, and everything that is under a 7 is just absolutely and totally unremarkable. For me, I like to play the 10-point scale, as it is. 5 being middling, but for these people, 7's middling. And Tales of Kenzera Zhao's action isn't groundbreaking. Oh, is this a review of Tales of Kenzera, or is this The Last of Us? Oh, within the genre, but it's elevated by a truly moving tale about how to go on in a world when your loved ones have passed on to the next. Oh, no, are you sure that this isn't repurposed from The Last of Us? But okay, let's take a look, okay? Because I seen this game get passed around a lot of social media accounts, and then I had to go do some investigating for myself. So here's my search of the topic, right? So taking a look at this, and you got PlayStation Universe, a soft Metroidvania with a strong story. Tribune News translates the journey of grief into a video game. Obviously, we had the IGN article pulled up. You've got NPR. They do game reviews. Okay, it has a deep story about grief. Deep story, beautiful story, devastating story. Oh, there's a lot of focus on this video games story, but not really liking the whole game part of it. Is there something that's not being talked about here? Like, who put this out? Like, who's responsible for this video game that's out here that I've been seeing a lot? Okay, jumping over to Metacritic in order to figure this stuff out. Okay, well, let's take a look. So you can see, so EA published it. Okay, it's coming from Surgent Studios, and well, okay, 76 critic rating, okay, and an 8.0 user score, but these are based off of relatively small samples, a small pool of reviewers. The game itself, not doing all that well outside of its superficial praise of, guys, have you taken a look at the story? Well, okay, and taking a look at Surgeon Studios, who's responsible for writing the story? Oh, shout out to Cabrutus. Sup, guys? I just wanted to remind you that Zhao is going to launch today. This game is on Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Curators page, and yeah, it's connected to Sweet Baby Inc. Oh, does it make more sense? Is it starting to come into focus now? This is what happens, okay? Because we've talked about Sweet Baby Inc. time and time again this year, especially with what they did to Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League to kick off all of this nonsense at the beginning of the year. Whenever they're involved with a project, it's poison. But there's a big reason that they latched themselves onto franchises. Where did they initially get a lot of hype? Well, being attached to God of War. What did they contribute to that? Well, that would be the Angrboda stuff, where you're just race swapping a Norse god. A little bit insufferable, but did it ultimately detract from the story, from the people that played it? No. From the stupid woke bros that just want to yell and complain about the fact that black people being in a game is somehow woke? Well, I'm sure that they had a big problem with that. Then, of course, taking a look at what they did with Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, knowing that they had a much more say on that one. And then, of course, and also need to make mention of something else that they did in 2023 when they were a part of Spooderman 2, where you had a game that, cost over $300 million, which is so absurd to think about. And while it was talked about in, a week of its release, but what was the overarching conversation on that? Stepping aside and having a side quest where you could play as Miles Morales' deaf girlfriend, where you could spray paint and listen to muffled noises during the entire quest. Oh, okay, cool. So glad that Sweet Baby Inc. can realize these very important stories at the behest of everybody's beloved franchise. But the moment that they branch out on their own, yeah, they end up in a situation like this where it's nobody can go, well, yeah, you don't like Spider-Man? What's wrong with you? Okay, you don't have the franchise shield. And when they're given full reign on a story, and even with this being an EA produced the game, being a game from as some people are pointing out in Cabrutus's replies here, oh, this isn't the game that you want to boycott, okay? You just hate it because it's a black lead, the same old crap over and over again. This is the wrong game to boycott. It's a brand new IP made by a very sincere creator that allowed scumbags to infiltrate their company, and this is what you get. This is the Steam chart for it. 51 people. 51 people, 99 people over the past day, 232 all-time peak concurrent players. Sweet Baby Inc. is a cancer. Now, over the past year, I've talked about their various releases. There is one in particular that I had not mentioned. Okay, one that was received by the gaming industry the same way the Tales of Kenzera had been received before it. And that would be Alan Wake 2. Wow, the gameplay, yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but the story. Oh my god, the story is so great, and it's so great, in fact, that when the Game Awards came around, it was nominated for Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, Score, Audio Design, Performance, and the Best Action Adventure game that is out there. And as you can see in the related article, Spooderman 2 didn't win anything. Alan Wake 2, though, guys, won the Best Narrative and Best Art Direction and Best Game Direction. Yes, all of these superfluous awards, and realistically awards that have nothing to do with gameplay. And speaking of Alan Wake 2, Sweet Baby Inc. influenced Alan Wake 2 still has not recouped its budget. Oh yeah, so Sweet Baby Inc. And remember, Alan Wake 2 popped off, what was it, October of last year? Before anybody really knew how bad they were, before their influence on the industry really got exposed. It was out here killing off games left, right, and center. Company's most recent business review for January to March 2024 shared in February of 2024. Remedy announced that Alan Wake 2 has sold 1.3 million units as of the beginning of February. Holy crap. So everybody complaining that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth moving 2 million copies in one day in February. Oh, that's tragic. Yeah. On one platform. Alan Wake 2 was on Xbox and it was on EGS. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Alan Wake 2 sales have continued at a high average price. Yeah. At the end of the first quarter, the game had recouped a significant part of its development and marketing expenses. A significant part. Okay. During the first quarter, the team focused on working on downloadable content that will extend Alan Wake 2. Is anybody really looking forward to that? As noted by Remedy, it has not recouped all of its development and marketing expenses, and it highly likely won't. The company also shared that it doesn't plan to attempt to generate royalty revenue from the game, but has not done so yet. Oh, it attempts to. Yeah, I don't think anybody's really looking forward to that because I haven't really heard great word of mouth after the game's release. There were several people that I follow. I've talked about before, heel versus babyface. He was streaming the game. I think he had to give up on it. I know Mahler gave up on it after one stream. Little Commander, who's out there, I think he forced himself to play through all of it, and all of those guys just had dreadful times with it. And this was without, okay? And Mahler doesn't really talk about the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff. He just talks about the game as it is, and he couldn't get past one stream of it because it was so bad. And this is somebody who was really looking forward to the game. As obviously he was so offended by the game, he went into the nitty gritty of it and really did bring to light who was responsible for this, and was one of the first people to sound the alarm in regards to Sweet Baby Inc.'s infiltration of the game. And this is what they do. This is what they do, and this is why gatekeeping these industries, gatekeeping these businesses, the people, oh, there's a new game and you don't like it because there's black people. No, we don't like it. We don't like games. They're made by activists. We don't like games that are just bad. We don't like games that try to use the medium in order to tell a story that they aren't talented enough, work together with gameplay. People that are so much more apparently wanting to make a movie and to take over the biggest entertainment medium in the world right now, yeah, we could do without the influence of those people. Because we're starting to see, finally, after such a long period of time, we're starting to see a change in the video game industry. I'm very much here for it, and I'm very much here for championing the best the industry has to offer, because when they're at their best, very few things can touch the quality that a game can bring by weaving together a person's interactivity with a story being told. That's why single player games to me are always at the highest tier. And then when things are bad, they completely and totally go off the rails. Mass Effect Andromeda. I hate that game. I hate it so much. It was also, kind of like a Sweet Baby Inc. precursor with Anita Sarkeesian being in the writer's room for BioWare. I want to die whenever I hear that. Think about that stupid game. Don't worry, guys. BioWare is going to be making Mass Effect 4, and it's going to be so much better with that shell of a company that's there before. The reason that there's shells of companies of once great studios that are out there is because Sweet Baby Inc. is just the current incarnation of this stuff. Obviously, you have Silver String, which was a baby of, because she's never going to have real ones, of Anita Sarkeesian, and Anita is just a knock-on effect from the Gloria Allreds and the Gloria Steinems that are out there. It's like all of this feminist crap is just repackaged. It's just now gamers are looking at it, pointing it out, and not forgetting the name and keeping up the consistent pressure to get this shit out of the goddamn industry. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.